Welcome back to another FIFA 22 custom tactics and player instruction video. Today's the 5-2-1-2. These are updated, so pro player top 200 custom tactics and instructions. Let's get straight into it. Don't want to waste any of your time. So with the defensive style today, we're going to be sticking with balance. I actually quite like using the press sometimes in the 5-2-1-2, but today we're sort of changing the formation slightly to how we normally use it. I'll explain in a second how we're going to be using that once I've sort of got get through the tactics. So defensive style and balance. Width, we're going to be using 31 width. It's quite precise. But it does work really well, and it's sort of just above 30. So you can see the difference. Why? I'll show you why now. If you look on this side of the screen here, it says defensive tactic and it says width, and it sort of gives you a little description about why it sort of is how it is on the width. You can see with 30 width, it says there's quite a big description there. You can sort of read. I'm not going to read it, but you can see what it says there. And as soon as you go to 31, you see that changes, and that changes all the way up until we get to about 69, I think it is. As soon as we get to 69, it's still there. Sorry, 70. As soon as we get to 70, it's still there, and we get to 71, it becomes more attacking again, and it changes that shape again. So with 30 and 31 is actually quite a big difference. I know it's only one difference on the width, but it actually makes quite a big difference to how the team actually plays in game. So 30 is drop back, more defensive, and you're sort of sitting back, letting the opposition have, just by changing it up to 1 to 31 to sort of the mid section, if that makes sense. I'm trying to explain how I sort of mean it, but you can see what I mean on the side. This is more balanced. It says adjust your defensive team shape to be balanced, and then if we go just down by 1, it says adjust your defensive team shape to be narrow, adjusted to cover central positions. And that is why we want just 31, because 30 or below is way too narrow, and as soon as we get to 31 and above, it becomes more balanced, but still a slightly deeper lines with, say, if we're playing 50 or 40. The depth, we're going to be using 70, I think it is depth. Let me check that. Sorry, 50 depth. We're actually using 50 depth today. 70 and above depth, you get an automatic side trap. We don't really want that with this formation because we will sort of want to wait until we win the ball back, sort of sit back not too deep. If we sit back too deep, we're going to sort of let the opposition have all the let them have all the possession. I know I'm really messing up my words today. I'm trying to explain it in the best way possible, and it can be quite hard sometimes. But yeah, we're not playing too deep. We're sort of playing a nice balanced line, which is quite self-explanatory with 50 depth. So the width with 31 was obviously just to make it a bit narrower, because those left wing backs and right wing backs, so I know it's a narrow formation, but those wing backs are really, really wide by default. Doesn't look at here, but when you're in game, they are so far wide. They're pretty much the widest players you can get on FIFA, and we want them to become narrower because they're pretty much useless at defending out there. And we also want to bring in the formation, just making it more compact, making it harder for the opposition to get through when you were defending. So hopefully I've explained all that right. If you don't really understand me, I'm sorry about that, but you can still copy these down and sort of get an understanding of what I mean. I tried my best to explain it. I'm not very good at explaining stuff, so sorry about that. For the build-up play, we're using fast build-up. Now this is one of the very few formations fast build-up works really well on this FIFA. The 4-1-2-1-2 second was my favourite formation with in FIFA 21, and also the start of FIFA 22 to work with for fast build-up. You can see it here. I don't know why I need to go to it. But anyways, yeah, fast build-up. It has been post-patch sort of changed slightly from the 4-1-2-1-2 second, and it no longer works with that formation, but it does now work with the 5-2-1-2 really, really well. Passing it around that midfield quickly, playing quick counter-attacking football, getting your wing-backs involved quickly, getting your strikers involved quickly as well, sort of alongside the wing-backs as well. The chance creation, we're using direct passing. My favourite feature to use this FIFA. Just push those strikers forward, push those wing-backs forward and runs forward, get the ball straight to them as quickly as you can. It's pretty much, we're set up perfectly for a counter-attack here, a quick counter-attacking football style. We're having a nice narrow width, we're having not too deep of a line, so we're still high up the pitch instead of just dropping back. But as soon as we win the ball back, we're going to be expanding out wide again. So the width is back to 50 from 31 when we're attacking, and pushing those wing backs out wide, pushing us forward nice quickly. So fast build up and direct passing, getting the ball forward as quickly as possible, perfectly set up for the counter attack. And for the players in box, we're actually going to go free today. I normally say really push it forward to push more players into the opposition box, because overloading the box is important. But we're actually going with free today, and that's because when we get to the player instructions, we want to choose which players are going forward into the opposition box, because it's not as important this time on this formation to push those players forward, and I'll show you why when we get onto the player instructions. But we're actually using 3 players in box, so we can manually choose who we want going forward. And then for the corners and free kicks, 2 on corners and 1 on free kicks, because it's not really useful having too many players in the box for free kicks. It's just going to leave you open to a counter attack, and nobody really crosses it on from a free kick, let's be honest. You all want to have a go and shoot. Anyway, for the player instructions, stay central to your strikers. They stay in the centre of the pitch in line with the opposition goal and not drifting out wide. That is important. Getting behind, which works really well with the forward runs thing, and then stay forward. So getting behind the opposition defence and stay forward. So they're always at the top of the pitch, not coming back when defending. They're always going to be up there when you need them, which can work quickly to get an attack. That is on both of your strikers, okay? So for the cam, stay forward, sitting just behind the strikers. Always going to be staying up there as well, helping out the strikers, just behind the strikers, pretty much like a third striker, or sort of the support man for the 2 strikers, if you say it like that. And then get into the box for cross to ensure our cam is always going into the box for cross, overloading that box, helping out our strikers as much as possible. So now for your 2 centre mids. For these, you want to stay back while attacking, so they're not pushing forward. Stay on edge of box across just to make sure they're not going into the opposition box, because we don't want these players overloading the box. And then you want, leave these on balanced crossing runs, because sometimes they can be quite useful if they go into the box, but we still want to be using stay back while attacking to make sure they're not going forward. And then very importantly, make sure you have cover centre on, because you do not want your centre mids drifting out wide. That's going to change the whole shape of the formation and leave you very exposed in the middle. You need these three sort of the triangle shape here. You can see the triangle between your 2 centre mids and your cam, very important shape, and you don't want to mess that up. That is also why we're not playing too high of an attacking width, because that's going to bring those players slightly out wider and mess up the shape. You want that triangle nice and tight, but not too close together that they're sort of bumping into each other, but as well as you can get it. And then cover centre on both centre mids, stay back while attacking, and probably just leave balanced crossing runs on. Your cam is sort of like the bridge between your strikers and your midfield, and he's a very important attacking player. He's sort of doing a lot of work helping out both the strikers. So the 3 centre backs we are leaving default, and then for your full backs you always want to be using balanced attack and overlap when you're playing a formation with no wingers. If there's wingers, I sometimes say use stay back while attacking, because then you have more defensive help. But there's no wingers today. We want balanced attack. So our wing backs on this formation are doing so much work. They're the most important positions on this formation, but they're going to be running up and down that wing all game long. If you use join the attack, there's going to be a bit too much. They're sort of always going to be going forward, but balanced attack seems to work nicely, and it's still suited when needed, and they're still going up very often. And then overlaps, they're making overlapping runs on the outside. That's on both your wing backs, and your goalkeeper comes across this. Your keeper's coming off his line more to defend corners and crosses, and at sweeper keeper be more aggressive, coming outside his box and challenging the opponent for loose balls and through balls, just as it says here on screen. And that's everything for today's video. The 5-2-1-2. These are pro players, so top 200 custom tactics and in player instructions. They're quite aggressive tactics instructions today. I'd normally recommend you to probably play these in your attacking slot. Probably not ultra attacking, but I would say attacking for these ones today. And it's pretty much, we're playing quite counter-attacking. That is how this formation works, and that is how these tactics are set up to do. Quite counter-attacking with the fast build-up and direct passing. But anyway, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll reply as quickly as possible. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.